Yeah. So are you all familiar with the concept of being in big trouble?
Yeah.
Because...
I watched it.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Yeah. I liked it.
At probability 0.2, every student in here watched it. Which, this is the big trouble number. Now, like, if this were something like 15, I'd be like, oh, that's a measurement error, right? When there's 30 students and 1 hour of video and 6.1 total hours of watch time, and I told you I was going to check this before I sent the video out, that constitutes you being in big trouble, right? Okay, so you're all in big trouble. Were you nice to Jed on Monday?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll talk to Jed and we'll figure out how much big trouble you're in, okay? And let's hope for a small amount of big trouble, right? Okay. Some of you are here today. Do you think there's 30 of you? Okay, so the troubling continues. And I want to be clear that this trouble is smaller than the other thing named the Troubles, which was in Ireland, and that was much worse than what's happening now. So there's no reference there. Okay, today we're learning about strings. What is a string? It's an ordered collection of characters, right? So I think really the name string was super confusing to me when I was learning computer science. But like, the question I always had was like, oh, why don't we call them words? Well, because words don't have spaces in the middle of them, so you can't really call them words. And you're like, why don't you call them sentences? Well, hi is also a string, and that's not a complete sentence, right? So the term string just sort of emerged as a way to describe a string of characters. And it used to be a character string, characters being the things we type, right? So this is just, it's in order, it's a collection of characters. It's not of any fixed length, right? So this is not 5 characters. This is not only lowercase characters. So we call it a string for that reason. Speaking of strings, the next assignment is on strings. It is due next Monday at the time all of the assignments are due. The last assignment, checkerboard, was already due. I am not finished looking at those. I looked at one and it was awesome. So if you happen to be the one person whose homework I looked at, great job. It was so good I shared it with the other faculty and was like, look how good this is. So that's helping you with the big trouble problem, right? So keep turning in bangers, and then it won't matter that you're not in class, right? Anyways, if you were one of the 29 people that I did not look at yet, I have no idea how well you do, but I assume all of you students collectively share one brain, because all of the faculty share one brain, right? And so I'm assuming you all did exactly as well on that assignment. Just so you know, for checkerboard, my intention is I'm going to try and write down some rubric that gives you like a gazillion points if it works on all of the worlds, and gives you some large amount of points if it works on any of the worlds. So if it only works in 8x8, that's probably like 90%, and then if it works in everything, that's probably 100%. The rubric on Div 8, 6.7? Anyone remember? It was a long time ago.
Yes.
You'll probably like not get credit if you don't use 6s and 7s, but if you include one thing that shouldn't be there, that's probably like a 90%. So I'll probably break it up that way. I will look at the homework and see if that's a reasonable way to distribute points, but I think it should be. That's what I did last time. One of the problems with making rubrics before the assignments go out is there's 2 things that are kind of unusual to this class. There's a possibility every year that I was atrocious at teaching and none of you get anything right, which means I did something wrong, so you don't lose points for that. And then the other thing is, if I were teaching a writing class, I would give you the rubric before the assignment. Why do you not get that in this class? In this class, part of the assignment is reading the instructions. That's why you don't get the rubric until it's done, right? Okay, so part of the learning is figuring out what I'm going to put on the rubric, right? And the reason for that is if you ever write code in real life and you ask your manager for a rubric, they will fire you, okay? So that wasn't my idea. I thought we should make the managers give people rubrics, right? And then I got fired, and that's why I'm in academia, okay? So that's what's going on there. Anyways, looks like the assignments are good. The class averages are very, very high on this, which either means you're smart or I'm smart, but I don't think it's both of us. So we'll have to figure out who over the course of the semester. Today we're doing strings. What's a string?
Anything that's proficient.
We're getting there. We seem a little more locked in than last time I asked. So I think of it as an ordered collection of characters. Did any of you heard that before?
Yeah.
Only you, though. Okay. Whenever I think of ordered collections of characters, I think about how you can add them together and multiply them. That's fake. I don't think of that. Okay, you think of that? Okay, I believe you. I think string arithmetic is real weird, but I'm going to show it to you today because it's on the next homework assignment. Okay. Do you all remember single equals assignment?
Yes.
You remember everything. I'm just going to start closing. Do you all remember Shai-Hulud, the Great Sandworm?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, so more of you remember that. Do you all remember the Alamo?
I do. I'm from Texas. I have to remember the Alamo.
Okay. Do you all remember the super meteor of death that destroyed the world 4 years ago?
No.
Right? Because it didn't happen, right? Okay. Do you all remember the Soviet Union?
I'm aware of it.
I'm also aware of it. I don't remember it.
You don't remember it?
I mean, I get some like collective memory of what we pass on through oral history. I do remember it.
It was not a philosophy question, but thank you. All right. Anyways, much like the Alamo, Hello World is a string, okay? Right, I could also write the Alamo there. Right, see, you were thinking of the literal physical Alamo, right? That's how I tricked you. But when I said the words, it had actually become a string, right? I'm very sneaky like this. I'm actually an alchemist. I can turn most concepts into strings by just saying them, right? So if I take x equals hello world, and then I print x, I will get to see hello world. You don't believe me. I know you don't. You're skeptics. There's no law against skepticism yet, but I'm working on it. I've been writing my congressperson. Do you all write your congresspeople?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I think we've all been there, right? So what is this? Okay, so I'm going to take x, and I'm going to assign it to be the Alamo. And then I'm going to print x. I'm going to run this. And it's going to say the Alamo. So even inanimate objects, like my laptop, remember the Alamo, right? Which means everything you've ever been taught about the Alamo is true, and you should not think more deeply about any of the claims made about it, right?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. This is not a history class. Don't trick me into teaching history. Okay, so, but what is the Alamo? A lot of people ask me, what is the Alamo? And that's no problem, because using the power of computer scientists, I can determine what the Alamo is. I'm going to see what type of thing the Alamo is, right? Right? What is the type of the Alamo?
I think the Alamo is
The Alamo is a class stir, which is Python, because Python does not speak natural language like us. It speaks beeps and boops, like other computers, right? So, like, if you were to have a conversation with Carol, and you would say, Carol, how was your day today? Carol would be like, beep, whoop, whoop, right? And so that is much how Python works, right? So class means kinds of things, and stir is short for string, because Python is very lazy and won't write out all 6 characters, right? And that's included in brackets for absolutely no reason, and stir is included in quotes for absolutely no reason. Now, we just want to show what is similar to other types. So, for example, if we print the type, lowercase, the type of 1, what is the noise coming from out there? Does anyone know what that is? Is another class having more fun than us? That can't be it. It must be something else. Can I get a brave volunteer to close that door so I'm not distracted? Thank you, both Kaylee and Russell. I saw you both going for it. So this is the way Python communicates what kind of thing or what type of thing or what family of thing we have. And it likes to do that in 3 letters, okay? So we will always remember the string, the Alamo, right? Okay. So are there any sophomores in this class?
Oh, yeah.
Can we, first years, can we hear it for the sophomores?
Yeah.
All right. So sophomore is, of course, named after the second album that an indie rock band produces, right? So you are probably all aware that Will Ramos joined Lorna Shore, the deathcore band, in 2021. And you're probably all aware that Lorna Shore's second album with Will Ramos, I Feel the Ever Black Festering Within Me, came out on Thursday, which is not the reason we didn't have class. That was because I had COVID, right?
We don't even have class on Thursday.
On Friday. So I was not just at home listening to I Feel the Ever Black Festering Within Me, Will Ramos's sophomore album with Lorna Shore, right? So that's what sophomore means, right? It refers to I feel the ever black festering within me. So if you're a first year and you feel the ever black festering within you next year,
it's normal.
yes, that's working as intended, right? So one of the things I do is I like to count how many majors there are, because if there's more majors in computer science than in another major, I get to feel better than people that teach that major, right? And if there's fewer computer science majors than another major, I get to feel like the other people are cheating, right? So it's like, you've done this, right? Like, everyone I'm better than them, I'm better than, and everyone better than me is cheating, right? So it's important to know who's cheating and who's not as good as me, right? And so this is the way I live my life, and I highly encourage you to live your life this way. There's absolutely no problems with approaching life this way, right? So one of the things I do is I download the list of CS majors every year and count up the sophomores, and that's how I decide how many classes I'm going to teach next year. Some of you may become computer science majors or other majors of varying sorts, and do let me know as soon as possible so I can decide what classes to teach next year. If you would like me to become your CS advisor, you can email me at ckdeutschwein@willamette.edu. And if you can't spell my last name, I think if you type Calvin in Gmail, it still comes up, right? If you want to do a data science major, I'm able to do that as well, or I can refer you to someone else. Depends on what you want. You also have now met Professor Jed Rembold, who can also do that for you. So if you like Professor Jed Rembold better than me, absolutely under no circumstances tell me that. Just email him in secrecy and never tell me, right? I'll still find out, but I will be hurt privately in my own home, right, instead of in front of you all in class, right, while I'm feeling vulnerable. You never want that to happen while you're feeling the ever black festering within you, right? Right? That's too many things. Right, yes, yeah, obviously. The ever black festering within you is actually people liking Jed more than you, right? So, I think we have recalled that there are things that Python does well and things that Python does not do well. And I'm going to motivate strings a little bit by saying, in my opinion, Python is better at strings than anyone else. And we can see some things that Python can do well and can't do well. So Python is good at, I called these numbers, but it's actually good at integers, right? I think this one's too big, right? That one's too big. But if we take off a few of these, then it's fine, right? So like, it would be hard for me to calculate that number, but it's not that hard for Python. This thing is really annoying. I wish that would go away. Okay. So Python is pretty good at integers, whole round numbers, right? I'm going to take this over to VS Code, but I'm also going to talk about it while I'm typing it. Okay, so a lot of people, what is... Can I turn that off? What's Zen mode? Ah! Okay, never mind. I'm fine. Okay. We're gonna multiply 9.9 times 10 to the 20th power. Okay? And that's this number, which is scientific notation for 9.9 times 10 to the 20th. Okay? Easy, right? We love numbers. Any number lovers in here?
I love numbers.
Thank you. We might... Do you think we have too much or too little audience participation in this class? Maybe you'll need buzzers. Would you like buzzers?
Yes.
I think that'd be fun. Especially if I don't ask questions and you're just supposed to buzz.
What does the buzzer do?
It buzzes.
That's it?
Oh, yes, it will give you a prize. And the prize is the buzzing sound it makes. Yeah. So many of you may have correctly inferred that 9.9 times 10 to the 20th power is equal to 9.9 times 10 to the 20th power, right? Probably were able to figure that one out ourselves, seeing as it's the same number on both sides. But I think like if you add 100 to this, it's still true. And I would argue that should not be true. I would argue those are two entirely different numbers. I would argue they differ by roughly 100, if I were to speculate. And so that's bad, okay? Right? The one thing the computer is supposed to do is compute, right? If that's not computing, that's something else, right? So these are called floating point numbers, and they're bad. Don't use them, okay? If there's a decimal point in it, if you do that, sometimes VS Code just fixes itself. If you do this. So the type of 9.9 is float, and the type, what is happening, of 100, oh, what's that? Oh, I'm getting a syntax error, invalid syntax? I don't know what to do. I wonder if the solution to this problem was covered in class at some point. Does anyone remember?
Yeah.
Okay, if only I had watched that video.
Right? Yeah. Well, I'm just going to press this trash can and see what happens. Kill terminal. How morbid. It really makes you feel the Everblack festering within you when you see that, right? Yeah, okay. I just want to say for the record, you're not required to like deathcore to take this class, right? But wouldn't it be cooler if you did,
Do I get
right?
bonus points?
What?
No. Or maybe.
Qualifies deathcore as deathcore?
So I was trying to figure that out, because to me, Lorna Shore sounds like symphonic death metal, right? Which is like a completely different genre. So I went on the deathcore subreddit, and then I decided to not go on the deathcore subreddit, like shortly after doing that. I was like, ooh, never mind. I actually don't care about the answer to that question. So that's where I ended up.
I have a friend who would know.
Okay. Is your friend available as a guest speaker for this class?
We'll see what he thinks.
Okay, yeah. So definitely ask about the new Lorna Shore album. Oh, sorry. What I meant to say is don't text in class. That's what I meant to say. Sorry. You got me. That's fair. That's on me. But if you do find out, report back.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. All right. I'm just going to look this way for a while. My theatrics are getting a little bit out of hand. Okay, so I think that's bad. Strings are Python's pretty good at strings, and I know you don't believe me. So I took your favorite string, which is of course the Project Gutenberg ebook of Pride and Prejudice, right?
Yes.
And there is one other book that's allowed to be your favorite. What is it?
The Odyssey?
No. No, it's Frankenstein. The Odyssey uses a different alphabet. It might break my Python. Okay. Project Gutenberg Odyssey. Okay. Okay, so first of all, this is not a book, it's a poem. Okay, so there's the first problem. Plain text. This one appears to be translated to English. Butler. Okay. So whenever I'm using Python, why is this so zoomed in? Did I zoom it in? Okay. We're going to call this oddity because I don't know how to spell Odyssey. I'm going to put this inside 3 quotes for a reason we will discover later. And then I'm just going to paste in the entire Odyssey. Yeah, it's really not, right? Like, if I assigned this as your homework, you'd be fine to read all of it, right?
I would read it.
Yeah.
It's only 12,000 lines.
It's only 12,000 lines, right? One day, yeah. Let's, what do you think we should do? I think we should count how many letters are in the Odyssey. Doesn't that sound fun? No problem. So we'll say we start with 0 letters, because currently I've read no letters, right? In that way, I am much like a fictional character that doesn't read letters. And then I'm just going to say, what am I going to say? For letter and book, that's true. Okay. For letter and oddity, I'm just going to add 1 to letter each time. Remember this thing? Remember the little on its side? Like, okay. And then when I'm done with that, I'm going to print letter. Ooh, I can only concatenate stir, not int to stir. What does that mean? Oh, because I used letter twice. Do you see that?
Oh, you would say for I?
Yeah, I'm just going to call this one letters. And I'm going to call this underscore so I know not to look at it. And then we were going to say poem, not book. So we'll name oddity the poem. There we go. Apparently there's 7,000 characters in the Odyssey.
700,000.
700,000? That's what I meant to say, right? Never confuse what I say with what I meant to say. That's a common mistake that people make when trying to determine what I'm trying to say, right? And then what is the next thing we do? Of course, we determine how many tweets that would take, right? And since I was born in the 40s, the 1940s, back when we were using Twitter in the 50s, right, there was only 140 characters allowed on that platform, right? Yes, we sent it via carrier pigeon, and the pigeons could only carry 140 characters.
That's why they call it Twitter. That's why it's a bird.
Yep, that's why they call it Bird App. Ooh, that's a float. Floats are bad and evil, no problem. I'm just going to slap a second slash in there and double divide. Boom! 5,000 tweets. I could tweet that in like a couple hours, right? So it should only take you a couple hours to do your homework, is what I'm saying. Does that make sense? Yeah?
Our homework is to tweet.
Your homework is to tweet the Odyssey, right? And not your Odyssey. It has to be specifically Odysseus's Odyssey. And Odysseus had such an Odyssey, they named Odysseys after Odysseus. That's my understanding. Does that sound? Yeah?
That sounds about right.
Yeah. What would like mine be called? Like the Professorius or something? I don't know. I don't have like a cool name with a lot of syllables in it.
Countless.
It's weird not to see having a guy named Odysseus. Weird coincidence.
Do you think it's like nominative determinism, where like if he'd been named something else would have happened to him?
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. They should have named him the like straight up having a good time. Yeah.
If his name was Adventurious, he would have gotten it.
I think that would have just changed what the Odyssey was called. Called straight
Okay. Let's count the E's in the Odysseus's. Okay. Who likes or does anyone else have a letter other than E they like better?
Why?
Okay, I heard Y first. Sorry, I also heard P. Okay, so let's see. Wait, we can do both. We're brain geniuses, right? Okay. So we're gonna count the Y's and we're gonna count the P's. It seems like we should also count the Q's because we're mining our P's and Q's. Okay, so if letter is equal to Y. Let's take Y's plus equal 1. If letter is equal to P, that's, what am I typing? That's crazy.
You're going to have another error to use letter in the form.
Isn't it allowed because I changed the other one to letters?
Oh, maybe.
I didn't set letters equal to 0 though. That's okay. I have a plan. I have an ingenious plan. So I just put a semicolon at the end of this line. Why is that?
It's JavaScript.
Because of JavaScript, yeah. It's because I'm teaching another programming language this term, and I have one brain. And if you have one brain in 2 programming languages, you're either going to have a good time or a bad time, depending on what kind of times you like to have. Okay, and if letter equals Q, ooh, what happened here? Oh, what's happening? I'm going to leave that in, and we'll see what happens. I bet it'll be fine. And then what are we going to do? We're going to print Y's, P's, Q's. And I bet there's a red squiggle here, but I bet that's totally fine, right? Invalid syntax. What should I do? Okay. Well, in line 12,255. Okay. You are no longer allowed to complain about not finding what line something is wrong on, because I had to read the entire Odyssey to find my error, right? And you all said you could read the entire Odyssey because it's only was it 5,000 tweets or something?
Yeah.
And I read 5,000 tweets like while I'm eating breakfast, right? Like that's what I do every day. Like I have my cinnamon raisin bagel, I have my soy milk cold brew, and I read 5,000 tweets, right? And that's why I'm so normal. Okay, so I'm just gonna quickly skim these first 12,000 lines and see if I can find this error quickly. Oh, that was pretty easy. It's the only place with red squiggles. You see it? It's right there. Okay, so I'm supposed to put one of these two things instead of an equals. That seems fine. Yeah. So this is single equals equality, and it's supposed to be, no, single equals assignment, and this is supposed to be double equals equality. Okay, problem went away. Wow, there's a, there doesn't seem to be very many Q's in the Odyssey. It's not the Quodyssey. It's the Podyssey or the Odyssey.
There's a lot of why there would be.
Tell me why. Okay. My voice cracked slightly more than I was expecting there. Wait, no, I'm sick. Nothing I do today can be held against me. Okay. Which is good, because I'm typing absolute nonsense. Okay. Ease plus equal 1. Oh, I forgot to say first try when the code worked. Everyone ready? First try! So according to my calculations, which are fairly rudimentary, there seems to be more E's than Q's in the Odyssey. Does anyone else find this surprising?
No.
Anyways, this is called the Digital Humanities. You can look it up. Okay. I'm going to go over some ways to make a variable that is a string. Starting, and I just want to say for the record, I am not a narcissist, starting with my favorite string, Calvin, which is named after the esteemed Protestant theologian and also the critically syndicated cartoon series that used to be in things called newspapers. Have you ever heard of newspapers? They were the subject, they were sort of a fictional device that was invented to motivate a problem in a CS1 class for a robot that was going outside of a house, right? So that's what newspapers are. So let's go ahead and let's make a variable. Okay, so this is allowed. I am allowed to place text inside of single quotation marks as long as I both begin and end with single quotation marks. So the formulation here is some variable name that is not enclosed in quotation marks, and that's a variable name that is meaningful to Python. Then we have single equals assignment. Then we have some string of characters enclosed within single quotes. But this raises an obvious problem, right? Because that quote is itself a character. And so how am I going to put quotes inside my quotes, right? Like, how do you know where the quotes begin and where the quotes end, right? So, not to worry, I have an ingenious plan. You can use double quotes to enclose single quotes, and you can also use single quotes to enclose double quotes, which I will now demonstrate right here. I took my other favorite name, Louverture, for Toussaint Louverture, the Haitian revolutionary, right? We're all familiar with the Haitian revolutionaries.
AP World History.
Oh, is that an AP World History? Well, there you go. And so you're able to print single quotes in this manner. And if I were to go the other way, I could say hi, and I would be able to include double quotes within single quotes. But what if I need to have both single quotes and double quotes inside my quote, right? What you're saying is I need triple quotes?
I think that, well, you put the Odyssey triple quotes.
That was actually a spoiler, but it's okay. It's okay. This is not, a lot of people don't know this, this is not actually the beginning of the Odyssey. This is the beginning of Pride and Prejudice, right? Do people still like Jane Austen?
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out if I like Jane Austen or I just saw a movie with Keira Knightley in it and I was like, whoa, that was a good movie, right? And it was Pirates of the Caribbean. Okay, real quick, what's a pirate's favorite letter?
R. The C.
You would think it's the R, right? But it's the C. There's one other really special way to make things into strings, and that's by calling stir, right? What is a pirate's favorite thing to do to a cauldron? Stir, right? Okay, so
You could just say anything in like a pirate voice. Like,
spoober. I no, you can't. You can't say anything. It has an R. Okay. Also, I don't know what the pirates sounded like, right? And also, okay, like, we don't want to throw too much critical thinking at this that early in the morning, right? But like, I've heard like a lot of like really not nice things about pirates, right? Which are based in the Caribbean, which is where the Haitian revolutionaries were based, right? And I've heard some really not nice things about the Haitian revolutionaries, but the historians are revisiting, who wrote those stories, right? So maybe the pirates were good.
Johnny Depp got it right.
Okay, under no circumstances do we have to hand it to Johnny Depp. Okay, all right, number stir. Okay, stir. Okay, I'm a pirate. I've got a cauldron. Oh, I'm not printing that. Psych. Okay, that was fake. You didn't. None of you saw that. Did any of you see that? What do we do when the code doesn't work? Honk honk, I'm a silly goose until it works, right? Okay, so honk honk, I'm a silly goose, right? Okay, there we go. It's 525. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Do we see what's going on here?
Yes.
We decide this is 525. We turn it into a stir, right? Wow, that really hurts my voice. So, like, the Lorna Shore album that came out has all these death growls in it, right? And so I was, like, growling along, and I have COVID. My voice hurts so bad. But you can't just not death growl, right? It's involuntary. Maybe it's voluntary. Okay, so, fun fact. This thing does not equal 525. Those are completely different things.
You have to put 525 in quotation.
I would have to put 525 in quotation marks. Specifically 3 quotation marks. That's not true. I lied. You can put it in any quotation marks you want. So strings and ints are not the same thing, and they behave differently in a very important way, which is that if we print number times 5, we'll just multiply it by 2. That's a little bit easier. And if we print 525 times 2, no, or honk honk, okay, first try, right, we're going to get different things. Would someone who has not been participating an above average amount this class like to suggest what has happened here?
Oh, I see.
Do you see it? I think you're
little bit.
right on average, yeah. You're like the golden mean, right? That's you.
It didn't like duplicate a number, it duplicated the string.
Yeah, there's 2 525s, right? And they're like buds. They're like smooshed up right next to each other, right? They're like hanging out after class, right? And this one, what's that one? That's also 2 525s, but they're added together like they're numbers. So this is 2 of the string and 2 of the number, right? Okay, so those things are different. Here's your example, okay? Use type. What is the type of this?
Ring.
It's a nice try. It's stir. Yeah, okay. And what's the type of this? Int. Yep. That's strings. Good job. I thought it was time to, like, get up to some nonsense. So I thought I would start trying to add strings and integers together, right? No one can stop me, right? Because after all, I was able to multiply a string by 2. Okay, so hear me out. What is the Odyssey times 2?
A concatenation of the Odyssey with itself.
Right, but, like, does that make sense? Or is that just weird?
It's like reading it twice.
One book of the
Kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm assuming.
Y'all are talking nonsense. That doesn't make any sense at all, right? We can multiply numbers by things. We can't multiply books by things.
word problem.
No, it's not a word problem. It's a word solution. Now we have more Odyssey. Okay, so, all right. there's this class some of you may have heard of. It's called CS Fun 51. That's what I call this class because it's such fun. and there it is. That looks like CS 151. It's pronounced differently, right? Because that's a string, right? That's allowed. This is not allowed. I'm not allowed to do this. Whoa! Okay. I don't know why I made all this sound. Okay, so that's not allowed. Not to worry, I have an ingenious plan. I'm gonna stir the pot. Okay, right? Okay, it's allowed again. So that's allowed. But we can. There are things we can add together, right? So I can add strings together, and it's quite common for me to do this collective bit of nonsense. Where I'm going to say, hey, I got a number. I've got a prefix, which is C's, right? Yeah. Which is the concatenation of pirate's favorite letter to a pirate's other favorite letter. We describe that as multiple C's, which we would stylize as CS, right? Please never listen to me while I'm talking. Okay, so we're going to add the prefix, and we're going to add a space, and then we're also going to add the stir of number. Wow, my voice really hurts. This is a bad idea. Okay. Ta-da! This is called string arithmetic, because I didn't know what else to call it. Okay. You might do this in your life ever. This is completely unreadable, and it's impossible to know that you're supposed to put that plus in there. Like, I defy any of you to correctly guess what is wrong with this. Right? No one in the universe has ever noticed there's one missing plus there. That's completely fake. If you notice that, you are all powerful, right? Like, that is incredible performance. Not to worry, Python knows what I want to do, and if I just like slap a comma in there, it'll just throw in a space for me while I'm not looking, right? So this is usually how I print things, and you maybe saw this in the debug lecture as well. That none of you watched. Okay, sorry. That was the id and the ego and the superego. They're all vying, right? Okay, so I teach classes with the following names. I guess actually the date is a 597, but it doesn't really matter. I teach CS 151, which is a class about a pirate's favorite letter. I teach IDS 101, which is a class about identities that you have multiple of, right? IDs, plural, right? So, for example, when I moved from Illinois to North Carolina, I did find out that I could register to vote in both states, which is funny because North Carolina is super into not letting people vote, right? But I bamboozled them, and I never committed any felonies, okay? And if I did, the felonies were committed outside of the statute of limitations. So the felonies I didn't commit are past the statute of limitations. Are you all writing this down? Okay, all right. You might be called as a witness. Okay, so anyways, I'm a hater, right? I love to hate. And one of the things I hate is when my numbers aren't lined up, right? Like, I just want all those 1s and 5s or whatever lined up all nice and pretty, like, right? Because right now, they're not. So I was going to solve this by adding spaces. This is going to be called a write pad, which is like a famous thing going on. Okay, this is a bad example. Write pad a string with a variable number of spaces, right? There you go. First try. Okay, you can use first try with things other than writing code, by the way. I should point that out. You can just say first try no matter what you just did. Okay, so I'm going to add some strings, or some spaces to this. I'm going to use length to do that. And the reason I'm going to use length is because it's a lot easier than doing anything else. So we got book, which was still in my paste buffer. What? Oh, it has quotes already? Okay. Book equals book. That's probably fine. First try. Okay, so previously I did like letters equals 0 for letter, and in book letters plus equal 1, print letters. What did I press? So there's 260 letters there. That's one way to do things. Here's the easy way. You just ask for the length. What type int has no len? Oh, because I want the length of book. I want the book length. So one way you can check the length of a string is by asking it its len, right? What is a pirate's favorite 3-letter word spelled L-E-N? Len. Yeah, right? So a lot of people don't know that one. First try. Yeah. Okay. So you can compute the len, and you can compute lens of other things too. I gave the example of the range of 1,000. There are 1,000s in 1,000. So there you go. So this is the example I just showed. Here's what we can do. I can write pad a prefix by taking the prefix, looking at its length, and then adding a fixed number of spaces. So let's go ahead and write pad, def write pad. And I'm going to take a prefix and a number. Okay. If the len of the prefix is equal to 2, then I'm going to say print prefix plus, I think, okay, so I'm going to add 2 spaces so it's the same length as data. And then I'm going to add 1 space so there's a space between the numbers. Okay. And if len prefix is 3, I'm going to print, no, I'm going to print prefix plus, does your VS Code pop up like this?
Yeah, it's really annoying.
Is that's colossally annoying, right?
Yeah.
Do any, I'm not going to call you a nerd. Does anyone who I'm not going to call a nerd want to tell us how to turn this off? You have no idea, right? I don't know either. I have it turned off at home. View problem? Wow, that's annoying. Okay. Talk to your section leader about how to turn that off. Okay. Section leaders love it when I tell you to ask them questions. If len prefix is 4, this is the case where we just print prefix plus a single space. I can't even see what I'm doing. Turn off the pop-up thing while typing Viz code. No, not AI. Editor.
There's so much.
Of course there's we don't know the easy way. That's why we're doing this. Well, there's another pop-up. Okay. Is double equals? No, it's a. Is that allowed? No matching results? It has to be in here somewhere. View? Oh, gosh. What is it doing? Oh, is it under preferences? Settings? Oh, there it is. Okay. Gone? Yes? Do I have to press save or anything? That's not as bad.
I think mine was after they just turned off all the AI shit.
That's not. This is an AI. This is a language server, which is a different thing. Okay. Prefix plus single space plus number. Okay. Write pad. CS 151. Write pad. IDS 101. Write pad. Data 597. Is this gonna work? Did you say maybe?
I'm sorry, I was looking out the window for a second.
It's nice out there, right?
It looks really nice.
Ooh, you can't do that because these are numbers and I'm adding them to strings. Boom. Does that not look nicer?
It looks pretty nice.
Right? Look, we just used computers to solve a real problem that we didn't make up just for this example, okay? Okay, so I mentioned previously I'm a hater. You know what I hate? Writing the same code more than once. Right? Like, this is repeated, this is repeated, this is repeated. Ew, no, bad, gross, right? Okay, so what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to say, well, this line has 1 space and 4 len. This one has 2 space and 3 len. And this one has 3 space and 2 len. And now I'm going to stare at those numbers and think very carefully about 8th grade, okay? And specifically I'm going to think about in 8th grade is I'm going to think, do I have paint on this account? No, I don't know how to paint things. Okay, so, oh wait, no, I have a whiteboard. Oh, okay. The whiteboard is taken up with real math. That's okay, don't worry. Okay, so I got a graph, right? And we're going to imagine we have spaces on one of the axes, right? And then we have lens on the other one, right? And so the lens go 2, 3, 4. So we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4. And the spaces go 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
So if there's a point here, and then there's a point here, and then there's a... Wait a minute. Now, okay, these parts don't exist because those are floating point numbers, right?
Uh-huh.
So this is actually not a line. This is actually a string of points. Okay. Does anyone know the equation of this line?
I'm going to say y equals negative x plus 5.
That's kind of what I was thinking, because it intersects the y-axis at 5, and that has a slope of negative 1. Spaces equals 5 minus len prefix. Print prefix plus, nope, prefix plus 1 space times spaces plus stir number. Oh, no, I already stirred the number. Remember? Stir. Okay, wait. Sometimes I feel like I'm having an unhealthy amount of fun in this class.
Whoa.
Okay. So, if someone asks you what you learned in class today, what did you learn?
Graphs.
Math? That's really the best we got? We didn't...
Or
Sure, I guess. Yeah, that's fine. Anyways, I did this slowly. Last thing to show you, and this isn't too exciting because I'm supposed to be like practicing your names. By the way, I missed 2 days of class. I have no idea who any of you are, right? Like, you should all just pick a new name and tell me for a prank, right? That would be so funny. So I'm not going to do your names today because I want to give you time to trade names with each other before I go around on Friday, right? I expect to be humiliated, okay? Right? I want to end up on, like, teacher embarrassment TikToks, right? Is that a thing? That's probably a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should it be?
Hey, we can start it.
We can start it. Okay.
Sounds bad.
No, teachers love to be embarrassed. It's their love language. Okay. So we can compare strings, actually, which is interesting. I'm just going to comment all of these. How do I do it? Let's see. Alt, Shift, down, Octothorpe space. Yeah? Do you all use multi-cursor?
How would I know how to?
Multi-cursor, VS Code. If you're looking for a fun thing to do, skip the AI-generated summary. Just go right down here and click on a link, and then type multi-cursor. Woo! Multi-cursor. Okay. Oh, that actually looks super rad. Look at these examples. The quick brown fox jumps over the watchful dog. Incredible. Okay.
Watchful.
Well, it was lazy, and they changed it.
Well, that means there's an easy.
Actually, there's a silent Z in watchful. It's also invisible. Okay, what were we doing? Right, okay. So A is A greater than or less than B? here's the way to think about this. I'm writing down the numbers in order. Do I write 1 before or after 2? 1, right? So 1 is first, 2 is second. If I'm writing down the letters, do I write A before or after B? Right. So A is less than B because 1 is less than 2. So this is false. So things that are alphabetically first are less than in string world. You're allowed to do equals, which we kind of already demonstrated. So those things are not equal to each other. But there's some kind of things that may surprise us that are. These two things look different to me, but I think I'm going to get false for A equals B and then true for A equals A, right? Why do I have this open? Okay. So here's a series of examples, and I really think of this as we say 1 before 2 when we're giving the numbers in order. We say A before B when we're giving the letters in order. So alphabetically first is less than. Look out for this one. Things that are shorter come before things that are longer. So I think nothing comes before everything. Ooh, I lied. I'm telling lies. Oh, because that was equal. Never mind. What am I doing? Okay. Okay. I think nothing. That's the string with nothing in it, right? It's just 2 quotes. That would be the same as this and would be the same as 6 of these, right? I think this comes before A. And the reason for that is because we say A comes before a word that starts with A. Which, that makes sense, because I think that happens in the dictionary. Y'all remember dictionaries?
Yeah.
Have I told you my funny dictionary story?
No.
I know I haven't. That was a leading question. Okay, so when I was in 2nd grade, I had a very fun student teacher. Do y'all have student teachers in elementary school?
No.
In high school.
In high school?
No.
Okay, middle school? Shout out middle school, right? That's where they turn children into unhappy adults, and then they make you happy in high school by making you listen to Lorna Shore. Okay, so when I was in 2nd grade, my student teacher had a rule that you weren't allowed to ask how to spell words, because that would cause you to grow up to become weak and intellectually lazy and be naturally selected,
Because
right?
asking questions, as we all know, is not how you learn.
Yes, it's a sign of weakness, right? And I turned out fine, so, I mean, obviously this worked. That's not the whole story, by the way. That was not the moral of the story. Okay, so one day, I couldn't remember how to spell of.
That happens in
Right, so I knew there was a V in there somewhere, but I didn't know where the V was, right? Because of, right? So I asked, and so you weren't allowed to ask how to spell the word, but you were allowed to ask the first 2 letters so you could look it up in the dictionary, right? So I asked what the first 2 letters of were, and then that rule went away. We didn't have that rule anymore. So I caused so much psychological damage to a teacher that I changed the rules of the game. And you should all strive to ask me questions just like that, okay? Right? There are silly, goofy things in this course that I'm trying to distract you from, right? You should ask me questions about them and make me be up here and be like, and then change the rules, right? That's the goal, right? The goal is to defeat me. Okay. And it's harder every year because your peers went through the previous year and tried to do this, right? So anyways, those are strings. Wait, checkers is already Megado, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's fake. I'm telling lies. Okay. I think you can start the strings assignment now. And I'm giving you this. This is my gift to you. It's a little present. And it is very similar to what we did in class today. So go ahead and take a look at that. Sections today and tomorrow, right? Okay. Cool. I think time's over. I'm going to look at you and try and remember your names. Ella, Edgar, Mila. Oh, that's all. I don't know you 4. Oh, no. Okay, I'm going to have to come over. Okay. you have 6 letters?
I did the first one. The first one was only one, and I don't think so.
This is rough. Oh, you yes, okay.
I say it. I'm done.
Wow, this is so much less bad than I thought.
Yeah, I'm trying to like
This is
city.
keep doing whatever you do. You're making me exactly
It's only maybe I'll just wait for a while after college.
That's also fine. I didn't go here. I finally got it's my 3rd year here. You could
lots of E's. It's a lot of E's.
I would say there's about 3 E's between the two of
How about
us.
we just
There's 3 E's and 8 others.
that's from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m.
I do know the two. Those are also more letters.
That's
Okay, so you have 5 letters. You have 2 E's. Essentially.
Oh, like you see this.
I'm going with that. Is that fine? Okay. Left.
Yeah, I'm tired, but like,
I have a question for you when you're done.
Okay. Got you 1 credit. Yes. And 2 E's. No. 2 E's? It is 2 E's. Okay. Maybe same here. Benjamin. I want to say Benjamin every time, and that's cringe. I was like,
you went a long line with it.
right, I know. That's why it's cringe, right? If it were original. If I was like Benjamin, that's maybe cooler. Benjamin, yeah, I am in to bed. I don't know. Okay. Wait, are you the emergency backup element? No. What's your name? Chloe. Completely made that up. Okay, Chloe. Oh, you Discorded me. Cool. Interesting. Don't do that. I forgot your name apparently.
No.
Wait, no, say hi, it's me, and also send a selfie.
Also send a selfie?
The selfies are me.
I'm not gonna send a selfie.
Send
I
a-
did sign
you
my
want-
name twice.
Send a selfie of someone else.
You want students sending pictures over this word?
Okay, so actually, never talk to me ever again. That's what I meant to say. All right, thank you, Chloe. So I got like, wait, why are you still here? Class is over. Get out. Go. Bye.
Because I have a question. So I want you to say each letter of the word. Do I need to make a lot of it, or is there a way that I can just kind of one line so that it makes
There's not a way to unpack this.
okay. Yeah, so, and those are the curly brackets. List is curly brackets. Yeah. Oh, not curly brackets. What's the dictionary? Okay.
Probably write Python code to print out the huge
dictionary
combinations to make over there.
Give it usually a string with
Actually, that's a really
any
good place to
Python
start.
type that you
Which
would
is
think.
That's a really good
a
place.
lot of work,
Yeah.
but it might help a little bit.
I think
Well, a lot of languages, the languages I learned have, well, but they're very popular. They're much worse.
There's no R. R is not a...
Do you know a pirate's favorite letter?
It's the C.
You think it's the C, but it's really the R.
maybe it's open say like more.
Do they?
Or the...
Or
I thought they all got ripped into pith by scurvy.
I'm just thinking of Gangplank from League of Legends, so that's
Can I ask an absurd number of questions? Like I promised I would at the beginning of the year. So I was, I think I messaged you being like I was messing around
Yeah.
with this, and and then I changed it to this, and it did a thing, and then I put it here, and now it does this. So I feel like I'm getting closer.
Yeah, that's what I think I should do.
Will the right pad stuff help with that?
Not as much. Right pad was to motivate in spaces before. You should draw the thing on your own board.
The graph thing?
Because you need some number of asterisks on each line and some number of spaces on each line.
Well, I need to draw like a pyramid, right?
Yeah.
I sort of figured out that the pattern for the asterisks is
That's right.
this. So if I figure out the pattern for the spaces, do I come up with a function kind of like this one?
Yeah. I think I had a function called row that did the number of spaces, number of asterisks, square row, given a number, given n, if you called it. So row n, print some number of spaces. Asterisk. You may need like n extra long rows or something.
Also, are height and rows the same thing? Because it says rows
Yeah,
down
probably.
here and it says height up here, but this is like grayed out. So.
Yeah, I don't think that matters.
Okay.
I should probably try and fix that, but I have no idea.
Okay. Well, it's doing the thing right now. It's not doing the thing I want it to, but it's doing the thing. So.
You know, that's the first step. Right?
So I will mess around with that and I'll let you know if I have any questions.
Thank you. Okay.
It's going alright. So like, low-key, I have such a stupid error on my part. I apologize for that. So I was trying to like lock in. So part 2, or problem set 2, I reduced it. Like, I was at the clock from like 6 to like 11.
You're locked in?
Yeah, but like my grade's still good. So I don't think I can get an A or a B anymore.
In this class?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you definitely can.
You think?
Yeah, I dropped the lowest problem set.
Okay.
Yeah. And the problem sets are like.
That was such an easy pattern. I think
No,
this-
it
I
doesn't
really
matter.
copied and pasted.
Yeah.
That's the problem. I copied and pasted, but
Yeah.
my second one I actually did like the upload file one,
Mhm.
which the
Yeah, apparently Quad likes that better. I have found that either one's better.
okay.
Yeah.
I probably copied and pasted and like pressed spacebar like entered somewhere and
Yeah.
I just screwed it up. But
Yeah.
like it would have ran fine if I didn't have that error.
Don't worry about it.
But
Doesn't matter. You're really
I
good.
think I've been stressing like I'm
No,
like oh like
yeah,
I'm
no,
cooked.
it's
Like,
like-
okay. Like I'm
It's like
today,
it's probably less than 1% of the final grade.
okay.
Yeah.
It just looks dirty right now, but it'll be better when I actually like
Yeah.
do well.
So like some of the motivation to like. So I don't in fact have to take off that many points for an indication error, right? Like I can take off 1 point. So in previous years I took off what I called a nominal point. So we get 99 out of 100, and then people never fix it. So they got.
Oh.
So then you send in a project to the section leaders that doesn't run. They're not going to fix your code for you.
Yeah.
Right. So the takeaway is not, oh, I have a bad grade now. The takeaway is, oh, good, this problem won't happen again.
Yeah, I fixed it in
So you're actually, yes, you're actually more likely to get a good grade in class now.
Okay.
The purpose, what I use grades for, is to trick you into learning. I do not use grades to sort people by how good they are. You are quite likely going to be in this class, as is every student.
Okay. Alright. Alright, we'll lock in then. Today actually like I learned to like I'm surprised that I found like when you were like, oh I don't know why I can't print the number, I was like, it has to be a string, right? And then you're like, it has to be a string. I'm like, oh shit, like I'm actually going crazy. But okay. Yeah, I'll definitely like Quad is my second home. Like I've been staying there for a couple hours and I'm thinking of starting the projects earlier, like way earlier, like today or tomorrow, because I haven't had to have to write something to get that first move on to the project, but okay.
Yeah, something that drives a lot of errors in this class is students wait until right before it's due, and then like you write much better code in 6 sections of 1 hour than 1 section of 6 hours, right? So that's like, if you started early and you work on it 15 minutes a day, it's much likely to be better than if you spent 10 hours on it.
Because like I started over the weekend and I made it work for 8x8, but it didn't work for a 5x5 or whatever.
Yeah.
So then I just went to the Quad, had to delete everything, and I had to restart my code, which is kind of like that. It's part of the process, whatever. And then I actually like I'm surprised that it actually worked. Wow, it actually works for a 5x5 actually. You know.
Yeah.
And then I actually did the 6x. I started the 6 divisible by 6 or 7. I actually got part of it down. Like I just forgot the and not, and then that statement. That's the only thing I forgot. And then other than that, it was good.
Cool. Yeah,
So
good.
yeah, I've been like slowly improving, but I just wanted to know if I should worry or not,
No,
or like
you shouldn't worry.
okay. All right.
You should be precise and disciplined and do what you need to do to not necessarily spend large numbers of hours, but spend quality time solving problems. Right?
Okay.
So it's not necessarily that it's difficult or it's a large amount of work. It's just like you just gotta do it right. And the you gotta do it right comes from like the language has certain requirements, right? Like
Okay. Yeah.
what you're learning in this class is how to do that.
Okay. I was.
I'll change the grade if it's wrong.
I mean,
Well, no. So like, if it's final grades and you're like 0.25%, I'll just bump it, which I would do for anyone, regardless of what you ask or something.
yeah.
So don't worry.
I just wanted to know if it was okay. All right, yeah, that's fine. We'll just keep going and see where I go.
Yep.
But I'm locked in now. I gotta
Yeah.
actually try harder, and I'm gonna. Did you record the VOD by the way, so I can look over it? So I was gonna.
Yeah, actually, I was holding